Thank the maker.
Good morning, KCL, and welcome to Thank the Maker. This is KCL's only premier creativity show. Today we're going to be talking through a lot of things, fashion, creativity, art, etc. I'm very excited to say that my guest today is Nazlı Topaloğlu. She's the blog editor for the Fashion Society. She's studying international relations. She's working on her own brand, apparently, along with a lot of other creative outlets, and we're going to explore that all today. But yeah, we are coming to you live from the top of Bush House Southeast in the heart of London. And I'm super excited to be here Monday morning, bright and early. And one new thing that I've yet to announce for the show is we have a producer, and her name is Clements Hughes. This is actually my first guest that we booked through Clements, so I'm super excited about that. We've got a ton more on the way. I know we have been on a little bit of a hiatus, but we are back just before term break, of course, so we'll be on another hiatus soon. But yeah, we're excited to have anyone and everyone listening in this morning, and if you're joining us via the podcast, thank you for listening. But yeah, please join us over the next hour as we explore the culture of creativity around Kings and London and the world. Thanks so much. How are you doing this morning?
I am pretty sleepy. I'll need my coffee, actually.
Yeah.
I just had it, but I'm definitely okay.
Yeah.
I was just rushing, but I'm
all
happy
good.
to be here.
For those that aren't catching us live, we broadcast on Monday morning, which is always a struggle for myself and consequently for my guests. But yeah, I'm so thankful for you being here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
So I kind of went over what you do.
Yeah.
On a very broad scale. What don't you do? It seems like you do everything.
Oh my God.
My first question for you is international relations. Where does that fit in this crazy cross section of all these other creative outlets for you?
Okay, I would say that fashion is such a broad concept. You can, go all around the world, even in Arctic, you have your own sense of style because of Eskimos, probably.
Right.
And that means that, everyone has their own sense of fashion, and it's a way to express yourself. Uh-huh. And in international relations, we just, we just approach the world, in the broader concept.
Interesting.
In the concept,
So do you, I guess in your studies, are you looking at it more politically or more socially through the lens of let's say you get a paper to write, right?
Yes.
And I don't know, I'm sure you have essays for term break.
Oh yeah, I just submitted my last one yesterday.
Did you? Okay,
yes.
What was the topic, if you don't mind me asking then?
It was actually a peer review. It was about my future essay that I was going to write, which is about colonialism, actually.
And are you able to thread, because we're talking very broadly about fashion and international and whatever else global, do you find yourself threading in these ideas of what fashion is and fashion globally into your papers? Or do you find the two things quite separate in your academic studies?
Unfortunately, fashion is it's not considered related to my thing because they look at my modules such as political modules.
Sure.
I do international law, human rights. So
very interesting. Okay, so this is more kind of a personal thing. You're going for your kind of international outlook.
Yes.
And then you've got your personal interests, your creative interests, and you're finding a way to merge them personally.
Yes.
Interesting. Cool. Neat. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you're from Turkey originally, is that correct?
Yes, exactly.
Where in Turkey?
I'm from Istanbul, born and raised.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. And so what drew you to London? Why are you here?
I've always made myself settle to the fact that I'll study in United States since I had finished middle school. I was saying I'm going to go to a nice college in Turkey, a nice high school in Turkey, and afterwards I'm just gonna study in the USA. And NYU was my dream school.
Okay, yeah.
It's the capital of fashion,
right.
New York. And I was thinking of it, and afterwards my cousin was doing her master's over here. So she encouraged me to visit her because she knew that I was going to fit in here better. And the moment I got in here, I fell in love with King's College, I fell in love with London, and I said, I'm changing my mind. I'm coming to London.
Amazing. And
yes.
I feel like some people might argue with you there on like the whole New York being the center of fashion because like you've got Paris and London and you've got so many places. Have you found London to be like a nice center for you in terms of these interests?
I say so because as you can see, we do our London Fashion Week right next to our campus, Strand campus.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky to, study in Strand campus actually for that.
Yeah. Were you able to go to that at all?
Yeah, actually, someone accidentally took my picture because they thought that I was influencer.
Amazing. That's like the highest compliment. Wow.
I was so flattered. I'm so happy.
That's awesome. So I'm going to start really broad. Normally I start at my guest's interests and kind of take it from there. But I want to start bigger this time. Yeah. Do you consider yourself a creative person, just generally?
I definitely do. I don't want to brag about it, but I've always been into arts and artsy stuff, artsy subjects such as, fashion, art. Since I was young, I was sewing my own dresses, own outfits, doing catwalks at the age 10 in school myself.
Yeah.
That's why I would definitely say that I have some creativity at least.
Yeah. No, and there's no reason to say it. I always find it interesting to ask because you do get a spectrum of people saying, "Oh no, I'm not creative," even when they clearly are.
Yes.
Or yes, I am creative, and they're more aware of kind of where they fit. I'm of the mind that I think everybody has creativity and limits, just
agree.
Whether they tap into it or not. Very cool. So I really don't have much of a good understanding of like fashion. I dress to dress myself and to be practical.
Well, you're doing a good job.
Thank you very much. That's very sweet of you. But it's very much like a practicality thing for me. But my understanding of it is that there's so many layers to it, right? There's sourcing materials, there's design, there's putting together outfits using pre-created things.
Yes.
Where do you and your interests kind of fall along the spectrum of fashion? Are you more interested in like putting together outfits? Are you interested in design? Are you interested in the runway and everything there?
I'm definitely interested in street style.
Yeah,
I definitely say that. I like to, put outfits that people wouldn't consider together.
Right.
People wouldn't consider together. And I love to push the limits at some points because I come from Turkey.
Sure.
Turkey, there are so many fashionable people, especially in Istanbul.
Yeah.
Because I'm based in Istanbul. That's why I observed that way better since I was born. We definitely have some really fashionable people, but there is also this concept of let's not be too daring because of the public attitude. And I unfortunately saw it over here too.
Yeah.
Because people think that, I can never wear like vinyl or leather, all leather or like all vinyl.
Right.
And I just like to push the limits and encourage people on the streets. Guys, everyone can wear.
Fascinating. So, do you see this issue in London and Istanbul? This whole thing of people like holding back. Is that how you describe it?
I would say that in general,
Yeah.
in world, it's gonna be. It might sound a bit radical. Sorry for
No.
but in general, I would say that there is always a public attitude for marginal people, people who do themselves. They don't care. They dress up the way they want.
Right.
They act the way they want.
There's certainly, I think, in every like society I partook in,
Yes.
that it's kind of considered cool if you
Exactly.
do what you want and you don't care.
And unfortunately, in order to push these people below, because these people don't care. They're happy. They do whatever they want. There is a pressure from public, and I used to victimize myself about
Sure.
it. And once I dressed up the way I wanted, I wore high heels to go to like grocery shopping.
Yeah.
And it felt amazing. for
Right,
me.
right. It's very empowering. I feel like
Yes.
that's one thing I kind of neglect with fashion, personally, is it can affect your mood so much and how you kind of move throughout the world.
Exactly.
It's in a lot of ways, thinking about it from like a theatrical background, it's your costume, and when you look at characters on the stage, their costume affects how they behave and how they interact on stage. So why wouldn't it affect us in our day to day? Yeah,
Exactly.
very
Exactly.
interesting. Here is a trend that I am aware of, and I want to pose to you and get your thoughts on.
Yeah.
Less or more. So there's currently this whole trend of minimalism, right?
Sustainable fashion.
Okay,
Exactly.
yeah, interesting. So that's definitely a trend that I want to talk about as well. Sustainability is kind of the thing that's happening right now.
Yes.
So what does that entail? Give us a very broad overview, if you would.
I would say that less or more. Unfortunately, I have way too many clothes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get rid of most of them because I'm
Yeah.
trying to push myself towards less or more sustainable fashion too.
Yeah.
So I'm mostly against fast fashion because that
Okay.
means that you wear an outfit, you wear an outfit for only a couple of months. Like if you take care of it very well, I respect that, definitely.
Yeah.
1.5 years. And you just have to get rid of it because the trend is over, the quality is deteriorated because
Yeah.
it's definitely not a high quality product, actually, because it's wear it and throw it.
Right.
With a wear it and throw it ideology. And how to say, the sustainable fashion, it makes you wear less, it makes you buy something
Right.
once and you can wear it for years. Like it can be something like a heritage for yourself, actually.
I see. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yes.
something you can like even pass down through
And
your family, right?
It's actually like a detox too for yourself.
Ah.
More you get rid of way too many items from your
Right.
closet, you just feel yourself more relaxed. And
Who's the name of that woman that wrote the book and now has a Netflix show? The Art of. It's like get rid of anything that doesn't spark joy. Who is that?
Marie Kondo.
Yes. That's what this is making me think of.
Exactly. I love that show. Tidy Up. Yes.
Yeah, Tidy Up. There you go. Yeah, so that's really interesting. And I'm going to bring in my own kind of opinions here, which are, I don't think they're correct, but they're my opinions. I hate shopping and I hate clothes. I just want something to put on my body, and I hate the choice of it all because it feels when you walk into a store like I am paralyzed when I look at how many options that I have to pick. And I understand it's very freeing for some people because you can really customize your look to whatever you want, but I get very paralyzed by that. And I always appreciate my closet to be as least complicated as possible so I can make fewer choices. So my question is, how do you pick as a consumer things that will be versatile will last a long time, will look good. There's like so many layers and things you have to apply when you're shopping and think about. It freaks me out. It gives me anxiety. So how should I shop is, I guess, my question.
I would say that that's what I do, actually.
Yeah.
When I look at a piece, I love to, follow season trends. That's gonna like puffy sleeves right now, or vinyls, animal prints. Not real animal, please, guys. Like
yeah.
I would say that just look for one piece in the whole shop. I know that it's terrifying. It's a jungle over there because there are so many pieces.
I'm glad you're empathizing with me too, because like I explain this to people and people are like, I love shopping. Oh yeah. It's terrifying for me. Yeah. But
I mean, I'm an adventurous person.
Yeah,
I just throw myself into the jungle, I guess. So I would say that, just look for one piece that will suit all your clothes and make you look like you follow the season trends at the same time.
Interesting.
And make you look extravagant. For me, it's extravagant.
Extravagance,
but
yeah.
Exactly. That's how I define myself, I guess.
No, I love it.
But I would say, like I said, one piece, create 5 looks with it. With your outfits that you already have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very interesting advice. So, okay, to kind of continue along this conversation, I always have a hard time then, because then I'll go for like the most neutral colors. Because if I'm trying to hit 5 outfits, if I get something that's like bright pink, I can't wear that with 5 outfits. I can wear that with maybe 2. And so I feel a tension between this extravagance, which I aspire to sometimes, and this versatility. How do I figure that out?
I would say that when it's a really bright color, like neon or something, you can neutralize it all the time. You can balance it up with a pastel color or like a nude color.
I need to like get you on speed dial. So like when I'm dressing in the morning and be like, hey, I've got this color shirt. What do I wear with it? This is
please, like I would appreciate it.
Amazing. Okay, well I think that's super practical and helpful advice. The whole idea of looking for one thing when you go in the store, because it's so easy to get distracted when you go into one of these big, fast fashion places like H&M and stuff. They literally cater to everything and anything rather than narrowing their focus. And it's hard to cut through all that. Fascinating. Here's a really big question.
Yeah.
Fashion. How would you define fashion? What does fashion include? What does fashion not include?
Fashion is a self-impression for me.
Oh, wow. Okay. Keep going. I'm very intrigued.
Exactly. Fashion is a self-impression. You just have to show it's a way to express yourself to the world, and make yourself feel happy at some point. It's not gonna lie. Like the moment you get the perfect outfits for yourself and look into the mirror, you just feel fabulous. And the way you dress, I always say, always gives an idea about your personality. If you dare, you're a confident person. If you dare to wear something most people don't wear, you're a confident person. If you wear something cozy, that means that you're a calm person. That means that you just love comfort, happiness. And winter, you just want to have your hot chocolate and give it to me. It's a really broad scenario. Sorry.
Yeah. Wow, interesting. So to narrow in on this whole definition, where does fashion include? Okay, so to give you kind of context to where I'm coming at this from, I am in, for one of my modules, my classes, I am in a class called Contextualizing Creativity.
Oh.
And we had a project to basically be creative. That was our project, and we had to present it at the end of the term. And in order to achieve that, we were given kind of like context cards to inspire us. And one of ours was fashion. And we got that. And of course, where we immediately jump to is clothing, which is kind of, what you picture when you think of fashion.
Yes.
But where we eventually got to was we wanted to take it in a different way. We looked towards like interior design and kind of just design as a whole. Do you think fashion incorporates those things, not just what you wear on your body, but like how you fit your space around you? Does that include fashion in your mind?
I think it does because you have to be once you get into your bedroom, for example, you just have to feel like it's gonna be the place that I'll feel safe. This is my space. This is my space.
Right.
That's why it has to reflect who I am. Too.
Sure.
Because, for example, if you don't like pink, if you hate the color pink, you're into black. I'm giving an example.
Sure.
And imagine you have a room. It's full of pink colors, pink curtains, pink pillows. I would be really uncomfortable about it. So, like I said, it's a self-impression, a tool of self-impression, and in my opinion, it's the best tool for expressing yourself.
Right.
Self-expression. Actually, I just fixed it.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
So, yes, definitely, interior design is included in fashion too.
Right.
Because it's designing, styling, it includes everything.
It's very interesting looking at it from like a personal expression point of view, because when I think about my room and then I think about what I wear, my room is very much like my inward self, whereas what I wear is very much my outward self. And it's kind of two sides of the same coin. It's just like, what do I show people and what I don't? In your mind, would like the design of my room perfectly reflect what I wear? Is that what you think like people should aspire to, so that they're wearing kind of their inward self outwardly?
Exactly. For example, for myself, like I said, I like to use the word extravagant to express myself.
Yeah.
And
so, what does your room look like?
I have hot pink, leopard, duvet set, so I think it reflects me pretty well. I really like that philosophy. It's kind of like a guide to how to dress. Like, think about your room. How do you decorate your room? And think about how you dress, and do those align? That's really nice, because people are so much more free and expressive when they know nobody's going to be looking at it, you know? Yeah.
And they're building their room for them first and foremost. So like, why not build your outfits for you as well?
I always see the singing in the shower. Actually.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's like the music you enjoy at your core.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just find yourself, you just, have the best voice at the time.
That's amazing.
Yes.
To go kind of back to trends, you talked a little bit about trends. I don't follow trends at all, except for what's just on the store shelves. What is a current trend that's happening right now? Like, what's something interesting you've observed in kind of London with fashion?
Definitely puffy sleeves.
Yeah,
right now it's my favorite.
Yeah,
too. And sheer clothes, like see-through clothes.
Okay, yeah.
Which is amazing, and I respect it so much because it pushes the boundaries more too for people. I really appreciate women wearing like sheer clothes, see-through clothes too over here, and I'm really happy to see that most of the students in Strand, they dress up like that too.
Yeah, no, when I first got to London, I was so I was so like, why are people here so attractive and like dress so well? Like, where am I in all of this? Yeah, it's in Kings especially, people dress quite well here, I feel like.
Exactly. And also, speaking of which, for other trends, definitely animal prints.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a zebra print jeans right now. That's definitely one of my favorites too.
Yeah.
Vinyl and sequin. I mean, you can never go wrong with sequin. More like wear glitter on you. You're the star of that.
Cool.
Of the atmosphere. Yeah.
Where do these trends come from?
Fashion weeks, and I would love to say that I'm not sure I would love to say that, but most of the time they come from Europe or from influencers.
Sure.
And they just like these designers, they just continue to surprise us all the time.
Yeah. It's super interesting to me, because I feel like in a lot of other areas of the world, in terms of like trends and what's on topic, you get things cropping up from kind of like crowdsourcing. So if you look at like Twitter, what's trending on Twitter, it's because it's not always because one person is driving it. It's because the social kind of sphere of Twitter grabs onto something.
Yes.
And so what you're saying with fashion is that a lot of it does come from like one or two or three people and then kind of goes out to the rest of us.
Exactly.
Is there ever that kind of more more meme approach to fashion where like I'm trying to explain myself where kind of just socially everyone grasps onto one thing and it's not necessarily inspired by one person. It's just something that's popped up because society's grabbed onto it. Or do you think it always needs to be led by like one or two influencers?
It doesn't have to be led by
Sure.
one or two people, but unfortunately it does right now.
Right.
It's kind of fashion. I'm not sure if it's a good thing, but it's also like a hypnosis, I would say.
Yeah.
These people who are considered as the most fashionable people of all time, the highest brand designers such as Chanel, Gucci, Versace, once they, do a design, for example, all these fast fashion brands, they just, reflect them in a different way. And it looks like you just have to wear this. You have to wear this.
Right.
Because this is the current trend right now. Yes, it's kind of a hypnosis kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it comes from a couple of people only. It's like, I would say it's monarchy.
Yeah, interesting. There's a
Yes.
famous scene in The Devil Wears Prada.
I
You
was
know what
going
I'm
to
talking
talk
about?
about it.
Yeah, where
I love
like
that.
Anne Hathaway gets called out for her thing she's wearing, and I
Yes.
forget who's the main actress in that.
Oh, Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep goes on that long monologue about where that came from.
Yes.
In terms of just an idea, and the color itself too. And yeah, it is kind of interesting, and whether that should continue to be the case, this whole monarchy of fashion, or it needs to be more democratized. From my own observations, it does seem with kind of this whole influencer trend that it is being more democratized because the whole access to being an influencer has become open. Like
Yes.
anybody can be that. What are your opinions on kind of influencer culture right now? Is it interesting to you? Is it weird? I find it very strange to have people on my Instagram feed that their like entire job is just to pose pictures. I guess it's kind of a new way of modeling in a way, but like what are your thoughts on this whole influencer trend?
I admit that I tried to be an influencer,
Yeah.
but I didn't know the way to
Sure.
do that properly. I definitely had the outfits because I definitely counted on my creativity to create outfits on it.
Right.
But I actually appreciate it, when a influencer gives you a real idea, gives you a proper idea to put like an extravagant outfit to your daily outfit,
Right.
to add it to your daily extravagant piece to your daily outfits, like to go to school or to go to a coffee shop, to go grocery shopping. I really appreciate those influencers. I really respect them. However, there are some influencers, they just, unfortunately, count on their aesthetic most of the time. They just don't, they just don't do unique outfits at all. They don't do uniqueness. They actually, if you look at them objectively, there is no uniqueness, but there's just a good picture. There's just a really aesthetic picture with the same colors and with the proper feed with it. But there is actually nothing unique about it.
Yeah.
That kind of seems problematic to me.
Right.
Not gonna
Yeah.
lie. It's a really complex issue.
Yeah. No, I totally understand what you're saying in that you've got like real, quote unquote, real influencers that
Yes.
are the drivers of change. And then you've got kind of the people that are just picking up the pieces and doing what they do to a large following, but it's all just totally inspired by someone else. It's not original or unique or something.
Exactly,
Yeah.
definitely.
And yeah, of course, it's all so much more open and accessible with Instagram as a platform, YouTube as a platform. It's just as easy to be like someone unique as it is to be like a poser, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah, very, very interesting. It is such an interesting, like, new profession, new millennial, Gen whatever profession. I'm so fascinated by it as a trend, and people that like aspire to it as well, as like a line of work. It's very interesting.
Exactly. It's a really complex industry right now,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, it really, because there's this tension between being unique and bringing your own creativity, and then just getting as many hits and likes as you can. There was a recent, I was watching Dr. Phil the other day. There's a guy that was featured on there, and he got famous, or they got famous, I can't remember their pronoun, from like taking ice cream and licking it and then putting it back on the shelf in stores. Yeah,
Oh my God.
disgusting, but like 15 million views, and all of a sudden they were declaring themselves an influencer because they had all this following now and could manipulate that however.
Yeah, Dr. Phil, I know that there is a girl called Beverly Hills Brat,
Yeah.
actually. She just cried out for not having a G-Wagon, her mom not buying her a G-Wagon,
Yeah.
and a couple of days later, she just became an influencer,
Yeah.
a YouTuber. So, Dr. Phil, he's an interesting man, yeah.
he kind of cuts through the bullshit and finds the fake ones.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's kind of a line to walk where you get these people that are just interested in the hits, and as of such will do anything to get that, just to have some inkling of worth. Yeah, really, really interesting stuff. I'm gonna move on to my next question. What do you think is the biggest misconception about fashion at large? What do you think people misunderstand about fashion?
Like I said, like there is a monarchy happening.
Sure.
And even though I follow it too a bit, I follow it too a bit because it's a method of hypnosis too, in my opinion. There's a fact that, even though I don't like this piece, I don't like this piece of clothes, I have to wear it because everyone does.
Right.
Even though you don't like. I actually don't do that. I definitely say there are also some season trends that I hate, like
Right.
polka dots.
Yeah.
I just don't like them.
Despise polka dots. Yeah.
Exactly. Or how to say, what else I don't like? Yeah, I think these.
Right,
most of the
so-
time are satin.
Yeah, so fashion isn't such a kind of uniform thing. Like people have their own individual tastes within it, and even on like kind of the trendsetter level, people
Yeah.
have their own tastes as well. It's not how to say universal in how people kind of push fashion down.
Exactly. Like I said, it has to be a self-expression.
Right. That's like the core of it, right?
So why not you conceal your personality by wearing something that you're okay with, or you're not in love with, or you hate, just because you want to look trendsetter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing that I don't like with some influencers either.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I look at the clothes and it's just, like I said, she just doesn't look unique.
Right.
She or they just don't look unique because, first of all, you can understand that they don't, they don't wear the outfit because they love it.
Yeah.
They just wear it because another influencer
Right.
or a Vogue model wore it.
Yeah. Yeah. Really interesting stuff. We are going to take a quick break.
Okay.
As is tradition, I like to ask my guest for a song to use as our break song. What song would you like us to play today as our break?
I think Madonna's Vogue is the most relevant one.
Amazing.
Okay.
Let's get
Yeah.
that queued up, and then I'll talk to you a little bit about it afterwards. Amazing.
Perfect.
Beauty's where you find it. Beauty's where you find it. Greta Garbo and Monroe, Dietrich and DiMaggio, Marlon Brando, Jimmy Dean, on the cover of a magazine. Grace Kelly, Harlow Jean, picture of a beauty queen. Jean Kelly, Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, dance on air. They had style, they had grace. Rita Hayworth, in good face. Lauren Kaplan, attitude. Betty Davis, we love you. Ladies with an attitude. Fellas that were in the mood. Don't just stand there, let's get to it. Strike a pose, there's nothing to
All right, welcome back to Thank the Maker. I am back with Nazlı. We're talking about fashion and everything and influencers and all sorts of things. So that was Vogue by Madonna. Why did you pick that song besides the obvious implications?
Honestly, that was one of my favorite songs since I was 13.
Yeah?
I was just dancing for it and doing my own catwalks. I fell in love with that song after watching Devil Wears Prada
Yeah.
million times. There is this scene where Anne Hathaway is changing her outfits multiple times to show her transformation.
Right.
So that was
Amazing.
that made me fall in love with the song.
Love it. So cool. So we were talking about fashion in a lot of different angles. But let's talk about fashion here on Kings for a minute. You are with the Fashion Society. You're the blog editor.
Yes.
That's really interesting. What do you guys do as Fashion Society? What's like? I imagine you guys show up to a coffee shop and you just kind of sit there and you look at each other's outfits and you talk about fashion trends. What do you actually do? That's my imagination. What do you actually do?
We definitely are we are also activists, actually, when it comes to sustainable fashion, or to promote newbie fashion designers, because we would like to broaden up the new designers, and we would like to promote people to go to local shops, vintage clothing, or the newbie designers who are trying to start up their own company.
Right.
Because it's not all about Zara,
Right.
or online shopping.
That's another trend that's been interesting is, again, from my observation, so I don't know if it's a trend or not, I'll ask you, but this whole push from, global corporations to local kind of shopkeeps or designers. Is that a thing in fashion as well? Kind of a local uprising of designers?
Well, it has to be, but for this, right now, for top designers, I don't think that it's a good idea for them to do because they lose their businesses.
Right.
If it happens. But we try to promote it as much as we can.
Sure.
Because there are so many nice, fashion designers. It's a bit more expensive. They're a bit more expensive than Zara, or all these fast fashion brands. But they're definitely more sustainable. You can wear it for such long time. You feel more comfortable and still look fashionable.
Here is an interesting metaphor. So in America, in the beer industry, you've got these huge corporate companies like Budweiser and Miller, probably owned by the same person. I don't know. Somebody fact check me. And then you've got this huge movement of like craft beers. Which are made locally, made in a local brewery, distilled, and kind of pick up a local name. There's been a lot of conflict between those two, and as of such, the big corporations have started to kind of rebrand their products to look more local and to look more kind of like ground up. So like Blue Moon, for example, that's owned by Miller. It's a beer, and in restaurants, they label it as a craft beer. which is normally reserved for beers that are brewed locally. And so it's this big corporate beer that they're all of a sudden calling a local beer. Anyways, to get to the larger point, do you see large fashion organizations kind of doing the same thing where they're going into local markets and then rebranding themselves to appear more local and bottom up? Is that a thing at all happening in the fashion world?
I would say that most of the fast fashion brands, they do their, separate places at some point, and they do H&M couture, or like boutique. They, put these labels to a part of their brands.
Interesting. So they're still holding on to that H&M branding.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
But like they say, it's made with 100% cotton. It's sustainable.
Right.
It's sustainable. It's fair trade. They just add these words to make it look more ethical.
Interesting. That's really interesting. And I wonder if there will be kind of a change in the industry akin to how beer is, because if I were to pick up a Blue Moon bottle, which again is that corporate craft beer, which I really enjoy, by the way, you won't find Miller or the corporation name on it really clearly at all. It looks like it's its own thing. But you're saying in terms of fast fashion, they still hold on to that label of H&M, but they just slap on all these buzzwords like sustainable and cotton and fair trade. Really interesting. Yeah. So going back to Fashion Society, you guys had an event, Green Friday. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that? I'm really curious.
It wasn't actually an event,
Okay.
but it was a protest from all of our members
see.
to boycott Black Friday, because in Black Friday, honestly, a Black Friday means pushing people to consume excessively and buy stuff they actually don't need,
Right.
and they will regret eventually to buy that. And we try to boycott it. It's extremely against the environment, because all these fast fashion brands, they get 70% off, 80% off. Please, get everything that you can.
Right.
But all the things they use to make these make those clothes are mostly against the environment.
Right.
Polyester, nylon, and also it's also modern slavery too.
Yeah.
Because most of the time they make people in third world countries work excessively and specifically more for Black Friday. It's against human rights. It's definitely against the environment. So it's a day for everyone. It's basically a day for everyone to be non-ethical, terrible people, and just think of themselves for one day and jump on all these, stuff that they don't need to.
Right.
And we try to support Green Friday, and we say, let's make this Black Day a Green Day, and Green Day, and just let's just focus on sustainable fashion. Let us not shop at all on Black Friday. And if we want to shop, let's go to all these sustainable fashion brands who use eco-friendly products, who do eco-friendly products, send most of their annual salary to all these charities, NGOs. We try to support them. For example, Everlane for this Black Friday. It's a new rebrand for sustainable fashion. Amazing.
Everlane was the name?
Everlane, exactly. Okay. Amazing brands, all recycled outfits.
Right.
Super fashionable. They decided not to make any discounts on their website, but they also decided to give $10 for each item sold on that day to to a NGO, which is Aquaria, I
Yeah,
guess.
no, that's such
Yes.
a great repurposing of the idea.
Sorry, Oceania. Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay. That was the NGO.
Yes,
I
that's
see.
the NGO.
Yeah, no, that's so interesting. And such a good idea too, to kind of repurpose this whole corporate consumerism thing to
Exactly.
giving back in a way and focusing on products that actually have value and like can last a long time. Yeah, because that's even a trend in tech where they'll have products made specifically for Black Friday, and they're marketed as if they're the same products they always sell, but they're always of lesser quality, just because they need to move so many things. Yeah, that's a really cool initiative. I really like it. Yeah.
Exactly. And we also have these fellow society girls, fashion revolution girls. They specifically focus on doing fashion industry more environment friendly, more humanitarian, and more greener. Instead of having a Black Friday, they definitely boycott Black Friday and make it a Green Friday.
Right. Was that Fashion Revolutionaries is the name of the group?
KCL Fashion Revolution.
Very neat.
And we supported them on our blog too. We also do a EcoSoc. We collaborate with EcoSoc to make a charity fashion show.
Yeah.
Actually, we collaborate with brand new designers, startup designer companies, mostly sustainable. And every year, we represent their outfits on our charity fashion show. And from the fashion show, and the earnings from our fashion show goes to a charity, goes to an NGO. We try to support it.
Amazing.
Through that.
And this is all through Fashion Society. Wow.
Yes.
So much stuff going on. That's so cool. I want to turn it back to you personally for a minute. We've got a few minutes here to talk left. You are working on a brand right now, your own brand.
Yes.
What does that mean? If we can just deconstruct this as a topic, what does a brand mean? What does that include? Is that a name? Is that a collection of things? What is a brand to you? And tell us a bit more about what you're working on.
What is a brand to me? I would say something that you own and earn money from, I guess.
Okay, I see.
It's such a broad question, sorry.
No, yeah, narrow it down for me.
For my brand, unfortunately, it's only an idea right now. Me and my boyfriend, we are thinking of, making it.
Right.
Making it happen. We actually haven't even, found the name for it.
Oh, wow.
Yes, exactly. We are planning to do something with Igloo, actually. Okay. Something that includes Igloo. If anyone has anyone's recommendation, please
I'll put
contact
your
me.
Out.
Fashion Society. But we are going to specialize in oversized hoodies that can be versatile to wear, and it will be all sustainable with 100% cotton, fully fair trade.
Amazing.
All came from Turkey. And with also all these different images, I was thinking of making collages so that everyone would find something about themselves in those pictures.
Lovely. That's really cool. That's a really neat idea. Igloo. I'm trying to rack my brain for ideas right now, but I am coming up empty and I don't want to embarrass myself on air. Super neat. I've given try for to come up with my own branding sometime, but I feel like I can never, I don't know, you got to make something that is appealing, that you can apply to many different things. And so you can take hoodies and then you can take coffee mugs and have them be the same thing. It's an interesting process.
Yes.
But yeah, has it been fun to do, to develop these ideas and develop what you want?
We are currently brainstorming.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of how I don't have enough hoodies because I'm obsessed with them.
Yeah.
Actually, the most versatile thing to have in London. And I thought about it. I cannot find the perfect hoodie for myself. So why not create it?
Amazing,
That's
amazing
a really
intuition.
fun
Yeah.
part, actually.
Fantastic. Well, I've got 2 more questions before we close. Where do you ultimately want to go with your career? Do you want to work in fashion? What do you want to do? Yeah.
I will hopefully work in fashion
Yeah.
at some point. I'm thinking of doing fashion journalism, actually.
Wow.
Yes,
Very interesting.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm applying for internships in all these local fashion magazines, like Wonderland magazine or
Right.
The Glass magazine, which is like less known than Vogue. I'm not sure if it's local or not, but it's less known than Vogue or Harper's Bazaar,
Right.
Elle, anything. And I would like to, help them to grow.
Right.
That's why I am applying to their internships right now.
Yeah. No. Fantastic.
Yes.
I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so
yeah,
much.
No. Hope you get it. Fantastic. So I end every show with just kind of a general call for a recommendation. Obviously, we have your song that you recommended to us that we used for our break. But what would you recommend to any listeners to consume, basically? Any books that you've been reading or any movies or events happening, exhibitions? Do you have any recommendations for us?
I'm actually going to an exhibition with my flatmates right after this to
Amazing.
Tate Modern.
Okay.
Yes, I forgot the name of the artist, but like I'm really excited to see it.
What's some of the art inside? Because it might be the one that I've been thinking of. I'm going to see if I can Google it here.
Full of lights, extremely neon.
Right. So that's, I think, God, I'm trying to remember the name of it. I know the one you're talking about. It's like foggy, and they've got God, I wish I could give the name. I'll put it on our Instagram page. Yes, that's the one.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show
Thank
today.
you. Thank
It's
you
been
so
an
much.
absolute pleasure talking with you. Thank you for listening. And that's been Thank the Maker. Have a great day.
Have a great day.